Whoa, whoa, whoa. We, you and me and you. It's the Danny Carey Show. Please go to the link below to make a donation. Any donation will be gladly appreciated. And now, back to our show. Thank you. Danny Karen here. You know what's good? I mean, really good. And it is really good. For the first time in a while, it's not a complaint. It's actually really good. It's actually fantastic. It's actually amazing. It's actually very, very good. Yes. What is it? Well, I'll tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. Last year, I rented out my pool to a bunch of mermaids. And it was the first time that, like, actually hit home. Well, obviously it hit my home. And, well, it was the first time I actually fully experienced this new subculture here on the East Coast. Maybe it's other places. But, you know, I live on the East Coast. They live on the East Coast for the most part. I think one guy came from, like, Ohio to swim in my pool for, like, 2 hours, but that's okay. Whatever. Anyway, it's a subculture here in the world where people become mermaids and they swim in pools. So just in case swimming wasn't hard enough, these people decided, I'm going to put on a fishtail and go swimming advanced. And I think it's really cool. It's something that, like, I respect and I enjoy and that I like, but I can never really do myself because I'm not much of a swimmer. And, like, you know, if I'm not much of a swimmer, I'm not gonna, you know, become a merman. And, you know, the culture is predominantly ladies, because mermaid is a lady, and we see mermaids in a lot of movies like Peter Pan and The Little Mermaid and stuff like that. But, like, we never really see mermen out there. I'm gonna have another guest that's also a mermaid, but I feel that like all topics, we should open up this one for both genders, men and women, and talk to somebody that's a merman and see things from a different perspective, a men's perspective, and see what it's like to swim around with a fishtail. You know, do they swim in different characters, or do they swim as themselves? I'm not really sure, but here to explain the subculture of mermaids, please welcome Joe. Yay! Woo! All right, we're gonna bring him in. Dun 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 dun. Hello, Joe.
Hey.
So we're doing well. So I want to understand that you are a merman.
Yes.
So what got you into this subculture of becoming a merman?
Well, the levity, the fantasy, the being able to get away from real life depression, everyday stuff. It's just freeing to be in the water and being a character that's, fantastical.
Okay, like majestic.
That as well, yeah. Something that's a fantasy and graceful and free. You have the oceans to,
Wow.
Free in the ocean.
So were you Were you always a strong swimmer before you were a merman?
Just leave it as mer. It's easier.
A mer?
Mer. That encompasses females and the males.
Okay.
And those are between. No, I wasn't always a mer. What inspired me being that I'm a bit older than most of the group that we were in with together. My inspiration was the movie Mr. Peabody and the Mermaid with Anne Blythe. Are you into old movies?
I am, but I never heard of that one. So can you explain to the people that don't know about this movie, what is it all about?
It's about this man who is going through a midlife crisis, and he likes fishing, and during one of his fishing trips, he encounters a mermaid, and he takes her home to a pool and in a villa that he was renting, and the consequences of having her in a pool. It's funny, it's good, purely fantasy. It's a really touching movie. You should look it up.
I should look it up because I never heard of it before, and I've always been into older movies, older TV shows, older movies, older everything. I'm a very retro person. So, do you have any tips?
Blythe as the Mermaid, and I think it's one of the Powells as the main character.
Right. So, do you have any tips for anyone that's just starting out in the mer culture?
Well, first of all, you don't have to be a really strong swimmer. Just have basic swimming skills, and first learn how to float and do survival training, because with a mermaid tail, your feet are bound, and you use the dolphin kick to propel yourself. So it's a different way of swimming. Rather than kicking your legs, you're doing it as a dolphin. So you better learn how to float and stay afloat when you have your feet bound.
Right.
But it's not hard to learn, and never go swimming without a buddy. Always be around some people who know how to swim. But it's a very enjoyable pastime. Great exercise, and very free.
Right. So do you make your own tail?
I myself, yes, I do make my own tails.
Nice.
It's a means of acquiring, a tail cheaply when you're on a tight budget. There's some beautiful tails out there, but when you research the stuff, it gets a little bit pricey.
Right.
Just the monofins themselves are pricey. So, you know, you need a monofin to get the propulsion that you need in the skins. So the skins and the monofins are essential.
Mm-hmm.
So I make my own because, like I said, it's a thriftier way of acquiring the look. Also, it allows me to get into the fantasy, you know?
I feel that. I like that. I respect that a lot.
One of my big inspirations was the Mer Tailor. You know, he came across when he in I think it was 2012. He had just started doing mermaid tail, and I saw him in a tail and swimming in a lake, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I said, you know, one of these days I want to meet him and get one of his tails. And that's what really compelled me to get into the mer community.
Wow. So what materials do you make your fishtail out of? Mer tail.
My tails are made from neoprene fabric, and I hang the scales and the colors and things like that. So
really,
I get my inspiration from fish. You know, you look into marine life and you can get a lot of inspiration from the colors, the shapes, the textures. So that's where I get my inspirations from.
Awesome. So, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, you know, the fabrics are, a lot of people use nylon fabrics like bathing suit fabrics, which are stretchy and already printed, but I use blank neoprene because then it's a little bit thicker, and I can then design my own designs. So that's how I roll.
I like that. Would you ever make the tails for other people or just yourself?
Well, I would. But I haven't had the opportunity to make anything for anybody else. I'm not in an area where there's a lot of interest.
Right.
You know, in the middle of the island, and unless you have access to a pool or go to the beach a lot, not many people know, other than the mer community, that I don't have that chance to do it. So I have helped a couple of people make their own tails, and I share the knowledge that I've acquired to help them make their own. But as of yet, I have not made one for anyone in particular.
Okay. So in other words, if you could, you would.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, Joe, I'd like to thank you for coming on the Danny Karen Show with Joe. Danny Karen Show and Joe. I love that. That sounds cool. Thank you so much for being my guest. If you want, you can leave your contact information in the comments below when this video is posted, and people can contact you so they could, maybe if they want to swim with you or have you make them a tail. That'll be great. Other than that, thank you so much for being on the show with me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
It is a pleasure. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you soon.
So, if you are entertained with the Danny Karen Show, and I'm hoping that you are, and you enjoyed this video as well as videos of the future, I would like to say please check out the PayPal in the description below. Every little bit counts. Every little bit helps. Thank you in advance. It is much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. See ya.